Let's see here. I think I've got stuff set up correctly. Double check here. Tube is looking good. Okay. Which is looking good. All right. I think I'm good. I'm gonna, I guess, post some stuff in Discord. Okay. All right. Looks like Mini Shinny made it. Okay. I'm still kind of getting some of my stuff ready. Still have my messy wet palette from last week. All the colors that we used. Who are we painting? That is a great question. Tonight, sorry, I was trying to get some stuff out of the way. Tonight, I'm going to be working on a clone trooper. This guy right here who's kind of running. And I'll zoom in here in a second to on my zoom mode, but I wanted to look or start a little further out. But yeah, we're going to be painting this clone trooper. This is actually one of the oldest Star Wars models I have. I think I bought the Rebel and Empire starter set first, and then later bought the Clone and Droid, the Clone Wars starter set. And yeah. I want to paint this guy really well. And I want to add some battle damage and stuff like that. And honestly, I have a lot of clones. Like, I've got a lot more. Like, this isn't even all of them. I've got tons of them that I could paint. I've got a lot of guys I can work on here. I just wanted to start with one and see where I get. So yeah, we'll be working on that guy. We're gonna put some markings on him as well. Some color. So he's not just gonna be black and white. We're gonna add some color to him. And I'm actually gonna pull out my not wet palette. What the heck is this? Dry palette? Regular palette? I don't know. But we're going to start with some speed paint, actually, on this guy. Let's go ahead and do the double zoom. There we go. Scotch and Binks are watching. Good, good. So yeah, this is the guy that we're going to be painting. He's in kind of a cool running pose. And Scotch is spelled S-C-O-T-C-H. Rex. No, this guy's not Rex. I do have Rex though. And actually I already have him painted. I can go grab him. So you can see him. Do I have him in the... I have a case over here with some of my minis in it, and I don't think he's in that one. No, I do know where he's at though. I can bring Rex. I've already painted some of the 501st stuff. But yeah, let me go grab Rex real quick so I can show you. I went ahead and just grabbed my whole box of clones and stuff. So here's my Captain Rex. And it's probably hard to tell, but he has, I even did his little markings on his helmet. He had like little kill markers of like how many droids he's killed. But honestly, he was probably one of the first clones that I painted. And definitely one of the first like character models that I painted. But yeah, I really like Rex. He came out good. I also have Anakin. The two of them are a lot of fun to run together. I tried to do a little bit of glow of his lightsaber. They call it OSL, or object source lighting. This was my first like real attempt at trying to do that. So you don't really see it very much from like this angle, but then from this angle where the light probably should be hitting, I tried to, like, there's a little tiny bit on like his boots and stuff, and then on like the edge of his jacket. So yeah, Rex and Anakin together. And then I've got a bunch of like the standard 501st clones. Nothing too crazy on these guys. And then I've got some other fun ones like the, some of the ARC troopers I did. I did a whole squad of these guys with the purple as their accent color. Why did my chat thing stop scrolling? Anyone who's on watching, staring into the screen, so I'm happy to see anyone who's watching. That is Mini Shinny there. Oh, and this guy was a lot of fun too. He's my medic for my army. I tried to do a little bit of like battle damage and chipping and stuff on his armor. And he's got the clone medic symbol here on his shoulder. But he was a lot of fun. And he's in kind of like a non-combat pose. I mean, he's holding a gun, but he's just kind of standing there. Where's Rex? I just showed Rex. This guy's Rex. This is Captain Rex of the 501st. He leads with Anakin Skywalker. These two are the leaders of the 501st. Hi, Rex. He says hi, too. Alright, let's get those guys out of the way so I can start painting. Alright, so I used to prime these guys in like black, and then I would go back over it with a white ink and I'd spray the ink from above. But I recently switched over to, instead of a white ink, which works pretty well, I switched over to using this bold titanium white from Pro Acryl through my airbrush, and holy moly, this stuff is bright. Like, you get some really, really clean white minis with that stuff. But then, like, let me see. Here's an example of, this is one of my commandos I did a while back. This was white ink over the black, but it wasn't a very strong layer of the white ink. You kind of have to, you have to be a little careful with the ink. And, yeah. And then here's another one I did with, the white paint over the black. I don't know if this guy had black as an undercoat. He might have been primed in gray. I gotta go delete a comment and ban somebody on Twitch. Hold on. I don't know why these people do that. Let's see, where's the ban button? There we go. Banned. Oh, sometimes there's people that go on your channel and they start advertising like spam sites and stuff, and I just gotta delete those comments and stuff. So I did. He's gone. But yeah, so we're gonna start by painting in some of the black details, and I'm gonna use some speed paint for that. We're gonna use some Grim Black. I believe, yeah, this is the 2.0. This is the newer version. So speed paint is much more liquidy than normal paint. And instead of using my normal wet palette, we're going to be using just kind of a normal palette here. Normal painter's palette. But yeah, I'm going to get this shaken up real good. There's actually a bot that I need to get added to my Twitch channel. I think it's called like Siri bot or something like that. It actually stops a lot of those random comments where they're trying to advertise viewers or advertise whatever. But yeah, those kind of things are annoying. All right, so I've got a slightly larger brush than I normally use. Here they are, side by side. So this is what I normally use when I'm painting, but with speed paints, you usually want something a little bit bigger, but you still want it to come to a nice fine tip like that. So I usually, this one's a size 5. It's not really coming up on camera very well. That gold text, it's really hard to see. That is a 5 right there. It's just really hard for you guys to see it. But yeah, I gotta rinse out the conditioner. I leave brush conditioner in my brushes when I'm not using them. That way they keep a nice fine tip, and it helps keep them clean and everything too. All right, so yeah, again, Grim Black. Your nose is mad at you. You don't know why. Why is my thing not? It's not like auto scrolling down. Well, you were outside a lot earlier, so you could be having some allergies. Okay, so now we just want to be kind of careful and only paint into the areas that should be black. We can always come back later and paint back over the white if needed. But it is always nice to not make the mistake in the first place, if possible. Right, like, I mean, hurt, it's mad, and it's hitting you. Your nose is hitting you. Well, you're gonna have to be more careful, I guess, with your nose from now on. This song is not what I was expecting. How what? You be careful with your nose. That's, I guess, a tricky one. Yeah, to start off, this probably isn't going to be terribly exciting because I'm just going to be painting, you know, quite a bit of black on a white miniature. My dog is groaning and huffing like crazy. I believe it. She, oh, I got a little bit on his chest right there. I'm gonna have to fix that later. Some of these older models, there's like a lot of weird overlaps too. I'm gonna have to fix a little bit around his neckline there too. Yeah, I was just doing nothing. Sounds about right for her. Offset, are you playing anything tonight? Did you get any further in Battletech? I actually downloaded a Tarkov. Oh man, I haven't played any Tarkov in a long time. PvE. Do they have like a PvE mode? I don't believe they did last time I played. Gotta spend a bit more, but I was willing. Love the idea, hate the cheaters. That's fair, honestly. I was gonna say, last time that... Man, I just got that like all over the parts I don't want it on. But yeah, I don't remember that being a feature the last time I played, but it's been a long time since I played any Tarkov. I do remember basically as soon as I would walk out anywhere, just getting headshot from like across the map and never having any idea where I got killed from. I remember that being pretty frustrating. Nobody knows who Meow is. I mean, Binks, Bella Binks. Well, my family's family cat. Yes, it is our family cat. Gosh. I get the black paint everywhere that it's not supposed to be. There's a video a while back that did a bunch of tests about 60 to 80% cheat. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of cheaters. That is more than I would have expected, honestly. Like, I was thinking like 10 to 20% would actually be like a high percent. I mean, I guess I don't know what percentage of players you normally have cheat in a game, but 60 to 80% is wild. Up the wiggle test. Apparently 1 to 2 years ago came out with the PvE version. Oh dang, that's even further back than I would have thought. But again, it's been significantly longer than that since I played. I feel like it's been like 4 or 5 years since I had tried it out. There's probably a lot that has changed since then. Some games I do not know what they are. That's okay. Escape from Tarkov is like a shooter game that's got a lot of details and stuff in it, and it's probably not something you'll play. No, excuse me, sorry. Yep, I hear some footsteps. Probably means that the littlest Shinny has fallen asleep. And Shinny Wifey is probably joining Mini Shinny. Linked it to me on Discord. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That is, like I said, that is a wild amount, like a percent of cheaters. Like that is way more than I would have expected. I watched a video recently of someone else painting some clone troopers, and they painted the bottom of their shoes white, and that really confused me. And I don't know if they're supposed to be black or white, but I just always assumed that like the bottom of their shoes would be like rubber soles or whatever, and I'm pretty sure stormtroopers have black on the bottom of their shoes, so I thought surely clone troopers are the same. But that's not always the case. They got white rubber. Do they have? Well, I know they make white rubber. But I just assumed that the clone troopers would be similar to the stormtroopers. I know that white rubber exists. Some mistakes you can't fix. That is true. we're getting there on this guy. We're gonna do some cleanup here in a little bit. And then we'll start painting some colors on him. Sorry, I think I had that too far over. Okay. I think we're done with the black for now. Haven't lagged yet, hooray. I did turn down my bit rate, so I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was. I had it set much higher. So I turned it down closer to what YouTube was recommending for a 1080p stream. And it should still be fine. This is fairly hydrate. All right, well, I got my water bottle right here. But this is a fairly low motion stream. There's not like a lot of fast-paced stuff like there would be with gaming, so you can kind of get away with a lower bit rate without too much trouble. So I'm going to take some of this bold titanium white, and I'm going to fix some of the mistakes that I've made. And I've made a few of them. I got some black paint in a lot of places that there's not supposed to be black paint. So, good job, me. So these bottles are interesting. Instead of unscrewing the whole cap, the top part of the cap right here unscrews and it opens a little cap right there in the top. And I just need a little bit. I need like a little drop. But then for me it's weird because now there's just like paint on the end of the bottle, so I'm trying to wipe some of it off onto my palette. I don't know, I'm getting used to the Pro Acryl. And it also is slightly bigger than my other paints, so it doesn't fit on these racks that I have. Like it's a little bit wider. Mix and match. That's how a bottle of mustard works. Well, I have a tiny bottle of white mustard down here. Can I tell you the exact number of paints I have? Absolutely not, because I have no idea how many paints I have. I know I have quite a few. I would guess that I probably have somewhere around 200 or so. Because I know that Shinny Wifey bought me a set of like the old Army Painter paints, which I have setting over here, that had, I want to say 72 paints in it. And then I've also bought a newer set of Army Painter paints that I believe also had 72 paints in it. So those two right there are about 144. And then got some on top of the shoulder pad up here. I've obviously bought quite a few like individual paints that weren't in sets. But I also have like some Vallejo paints over here, like down here. These came in a set with like 10 or 12. The exact number of minis I have, oh boy. I have 2 real life minis. You're one of them, and your brother is the other one. Miniatures. I have a lot. There are hundreds of miniatures down here. It's entirely possible that I have like over 1,000. And a lot of those are 3D printed. I've got a pretty big variety too. I've got a lot of fantasy miniatures. I've got Star Wars miniatures. I've got Warhammer miniatures. Hey, Miniature Graveyard. Thank you for the raid. Did you finish up that beholder you were working on earlier? Necrotomb, welcome. We're painting a clone trooper tonight for Star Wars Legion. This is one of the really, really old models. This is from the Clone Wars starter set that they released. God, this would have been like back in like 2018 or something like that. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome. Welcome. My daughter was just asking me how many paints I have and how many miniatures I have, and both of those numbers are probably much larger than they should be. Almost done. I decided to do a tile pattern on the base, so I've got that to do. My goodness, a tile pattern. I've never done like tiles or checkerboard or anything like that. I know some people are like really good at doing that kind of stuff. I've never done it. So at the moment, we're painting, this would be just a nice, very basic clone trooper. Nothing fancy with this guy yet. So we're going to work on that. I was debating, so I'm pretty sure I just sprayed this one with bold titanium white whenever I was priming him. Like, I think I primed him, and then I think I just gave him a good overcoat of this stuff. He doesn't have a lot of like built-in shadows or anything. I've seen some people use, if I can find it, here it is. I've seen some people take this holy white speed paint and basically cover the whole model to add some like shadows and stuff. I don't know if I need it though. Thank you. Thank you. White is, in my opinion, a really hard color to do well. And honestly, that I'm telling you, I've tried a bunch of different ways. I've tried I have like the white Liquitex inks. I used to prime and then spray the Liquitex ink, and that worked pretty well. But this bold titanium white is, wowza. It is way easier to use, in my opinion, because that Liquitex ink is kind of fragile. And the bold titanium white is just like, that's a very white miniature. That is some bright white. Like it is basically like, my exposure settings are probably not great, and this is like all blown out right here. Like all his back detail is just gone. Like he's got all these details here, but if I turn him at like this angle, it's just, it disappears. You don't see any more details. That is some bright white. But yeah, my camera exposure settings probably aren't helping too much either. But I was going to paint some details. I was showing off some minis I had done earlier. Let me grab them again since we've got guests. So as an example, I have painted Captain Rex a while ago. I even painted his little marker, his like kill tallies that he's marked on his helmet. So this is one of the minis I did a while back. I painted him. It's probably been a few years since I originally painted him. Oh, sorry, a little bit too high there. And I'm really happy with him. So I kind of want to paint this guy to like that standard, basically. And I've also painted a lot of like the standard dudes, like kind of the generic like 501st clone troopers. And this is actually with that Liquitex ink. And if you look at these two side by side, you can tell he's not nearly as bright as this bold titanium white. Yeah, there's a big difference between these. So I really like this white. Let me put these guys back in the case real quick. right? That is an insane difference. So I was debating if I wanted to try to use this holy white to try to shade him a little bit, but I feel like he has some decent shading built in already. My daughter with the hydrates. She wants to drown me. For those who are unaware, there is currently a Shinny Wifey YouTube account and also a Shinny Wifey Twitch account. The Twitch account is my actual wife. The YouTube account is my daughter using my wife's account so that she can watch and hang out and chat with everyone. She really enjoys watching the streams. She has a lot of fun. But yeah, so the main reason I'm painting this guy, and I honestly have a whole ton of other clones, is I'm actually working on my own like custom army for Star Wars Legion. And I have a commander and everything that I have tucked away because I didn't want to accidentally show it off on stream because I'm not ready to reveal it quite yet. I'm actually working on a video for that. But I need some purple. Purple is the color that these guys are going to be accented with. So I think we're going to start, I think this Diabolic Plum will be a nice dark purple to start with, and then I think I will highlight it with the Magecast Magenta, which really isn't that much brighter. It's not a huge change, but that's what we're gonna do. Let me shake up this Diabolic Plum real quick. Can I see when someone shares their streak? Yes, I see it. I guess I don't see it in the chat, so I'm sorry I haven't called that out. I did see Necrotomb shared he was on a 3-stream streak earlier, and I feel like there was another one that popped up. Like it shows up in the chat that's on my screen, or I'm sorry, on the stream, but it doesn't show up in my chat log, if that makes sense. I have like a separate chat log that I'm looking at. You shared yours too? Okay, yours was probably the other one. Was it like 5? Like a 5-stream streak or something like that? Rinsing out my brush real quick. Yeah, buddy. Okay. So, what? Gotta go de-stream and head to bed. Got work in the morning. Have a wonderful rest of stream. Miniature, thank you. Or Mini, I guess I should say. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the raid. Always appreciated. I'm glad you had fun with your beholder earlier. And thank you for sharing the model with me, because that was a really neat model. So yeah, have a good night. And again, thanks for stopping by. All right, what shape should I go with? I've already got some paint on here. So a lot of times, for example, here, hold on. I'm gonna set down. So I don't know how well it's gonna show up here, but like, this is like the 212th clones, and they kind of have like a little bit of a triangle wedge shape like on his chest, and then almost like hazard stripes at an angle, and then like on his helmet the orange is in kind of a triangle shape there. But yeah, that's like the standard shape that they have. And then the 501st kind of have this like almost arrow shape pointing upwards on their chest. And then I guess just some vertical stripes and solid shoulder pads. And I believe they have like a little bit on their knee pads down here, just a little bit of blue down there, but that's like the standard blue for the 501st. So I kind of need to think up a pattern for these guys of what I want them to be. And at the moment, I have no idea. I thought about doing like I could paint like his kind of chin area in the purple. And then I thought about maybe like a upside down triangle on his chest. I don't know. Let's just try it. We're just gonna experiment here. Of course, my brush already dried out because I let it just sit there for a while. Your new favorite color is purple for a reason. I kind of forgot. Oh, that's part of the song. I was like, why is there applause? What is going on? That really threw me off. All right. So let's start with the kind of mouth and chin area here. Probably that meat underneath here too. Necrotomb, are you working on anything tonight? You painting too? I think last time you were playing some Kingdom Death. That looks weird with that not being purple right there, so I'm going to go ahead and just paint that in. I don't think I want just that to be purple. On the helmet, that looks kind of weird. And I'm kind of thinking go up about like that. Now you're painting some Kingdom Death. Are you painting one of those minis you shared the other day? You had like a moon looking guy and like a beetle knight. And then like some lady, I believe. The dung beetle knight. Is this white lie? Why is my little overlay my overlay thingy for the music stopped working? Did it crash? I'm gonna paint the top of that helmet. I will paint the top of the helmet. There we go. No, this is ambient gold. I like this song. I've listened to a lot of the Streambeats songs over the last several years, and this is one of my favorites. I am going to paint something on the top of the helmet. I just haven't quite decided what yet. That might be too many upside down triangles, or pointing upwards triangles right there. That I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I am going to paint something on the top of the helmet. I'm just not quite sure what yet. We're trying to figure it out live here. Do so. Triangles on the backs of his elbow pads, because why not? I don't know, there's probably going to be like way too many triangles by the time I'm done with this. The top of the helmet, you think I should paint his little mohawk piece up here? The crest. Did Mom help you with that, or did you think of that word on your own? Because that is pretty good. You thought of it? Very nice. Very good. Yeah, that is basically what that is. It is a crest on his helmet. And now that has some purple on it. I don't think I like just that, though. Alright, I'm gonna... go off script a little bit here. And we're going to paint the little side panels on his cheeks. I guess it's not exactly the cheeks. It's kind of like, it's almost like the cheekbones of the helmet. underneath the eyepiece. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks pretty good right there. What happens if I don't like something that I painted? I just cover it up again. That is basically it right there. The nice thing is he is basically just white and black underneath any of the purple I've painted. So I could just go back over purple with some layers of white and be pretty much right back where I started. I keep rinsing out my brush too because the purple, it's not that it dries up easy, but I'm trying not to have like a ton in my brush and add. Built these guys a long time ago, and I did not know much about like trimming mold lines and stuff, so there are some kind of nasty mold lines on like his shoulder here. I don't know if I'm gonna like all these triangles pointing upwards or not. You don't think Mini Shinny has had any ads? You think the Moolah worked? It very well might have. I couldn't remember if YouTube members were ad-free or not. I was thinking they were, but... that triangle's not nearly as big as the one on the other side. Bit on the back of his hand plates. I haven't really done any on his legs. something like... Dang it, I got a little bit on my... I'm happy she stopped by again too. And brought Necrotomb and a couple others with her. I missed most of the end of her stream, Necrotomb. Was it going pretty well? Went pretty good? Good, 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 good. Actually, I think I like that on his thigh right there. So now I gotta see if I can recreate that on the other one. Yeah, I think I like that on the thighs. And I don't want to go overboard with the purple either. Like, I don't just want, like, a ton of it. I mean, I kind of do. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want the purple. But I also... Like, these guys are just, like, the basic infantry guys. I need to kind of leave some of the, like, more advanced designs for the, like, special forces dudes. Like, ARC troopers and stuff. And I need something that's kind of easy to replicate. Because I want to paint all of the, like... All of the standard guys need this kind of like same thing. He really doesn't have much purple from the back at the moment. Looks kind of like he doesn't get hit. Well, it's not going to look like that for long. Because I was actually gonna paint some battle damage. That was my plan anyways. Speaking of easy to replicate, make a tie-dye trooper. That would be so easy to replicate. I'm sure of it. I don't think I've quite got that triangle like centered in his back, but... That's the spirit. Well, at least now he has a little bit more purple visible from the back. Man, I feel like tie-dye would be really difficult. Huh. I don't know. I do actually really like the purple on his face there. I don't think I like the chest all that much, but I don't know what I would do instead. I think I just didn't get it very smooth, and I think that's bothering me. He's onto something. We want it. Oh boy. This line right here is just a little bit rough. Still not great. There's Anthony Swisher. Hogtied somewhere. That sounds about right, honestly. I'm doing a lot of vertical triangles on this guy, Garrick. I'm not 100% sure why. I just decided that that's what I was going to do. And that's what we did. I don't think a vegan would get hogtied. Yeah, he has too much vegan power. I've seen Scott Pilgrim. I know how their powers work. The tie-dye trooper says, how cute are these troops? How cute are these troops? Okay, so we're going to take some of this Mage Cast Magenta. BRB. All right, Necrotomb. We're going to try to add a little bit of highlights to some of the purple. Oh, the anti-hog agenda. I guess that makes sense. Don't think that this looks that much like brighter than the other one. Like it is. It's just not much brighter. But I don't know if it is enough of a difference to really visibly see. Yeah, like I'm painting it on there. I can't even tell there's a difference. Like, it's supposed to be a shade brighter, but it is so close that I really can't. I almost feel like I'm just wasting time and trying to paint this like a highlight on here. It could be vegan hogs too. Yeah, I don't think the hogs that are being hogtied are eating themselves either. That's probably not. Yeah, I'm trying to paint like, it's not exactly an edge highlight, it's just kind of sorta, but it just really, it doesn't look any difference. Yeah, I see no differences either. And I was trying to figure out if it's just because I'm colorblind with purple. But I just don't think there's enough of a difference. And maybe it's because I painted that other purple over top of white, so maybe it was already like a shade lighter than what it normally would be. And maybe they are just really close. So I don't think I'm going to worry about using that one. I could try, I have another purple that is like even more of a step up. It's like more desaturated. So like these are the two I went from, Diabolic Plum to Mage Cast, and it is lighter, but it is like at least next to each other. It looks slightly lighter, but it's really close. But what I was thinking of is if I went to a more desaturated light purple, like this one, maybe that would work for a very, very light highlight in places. I don't know. I don't think I need it, though. What I am planning on doing, though, is taking some matte black and adding some battle damage. Add a little bit of chipping of his paint, a little bit of scratches and stuff. Gasp. He's been in a war, Jenny Wifey. He's been fighting them dirty clankers. He hates those battle droids. They killed a bunch of his brothers, and he doesn't like that. Okay, so we want some just itty bitty tiny marks on his armor here, especially on like his knee pad, places where it should be like scratched and stuff. And we'll probably put some nice little chips and dings in it in places. You want tie-dye? Well, that's gonna have to be like a big subscriber goal or something. I don't know. Like the Patreon stretch goal. I was thinking like, I don't know, I hit like 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe. I don't know, should it be a bigger number? I'm mostly just doing some like really tiny nicks and scratches here. Just kind of slowly building it up on his leg. I added like a, I don't know, like a visible scratch there. I think having like a nice little spot there where it looks like he got hit by something a little bit bigger maybe. Gonna have some scratches on his butt. Because sometimes he sits down in this armor. That shin spot would be like me running to the corner of the box again. Yeah, kinda. Kinda. Mostly just trying to like get some of this on here without going like too overboard, because I do feel like it's really, really easy to accidentally get too much. It's kind of just like, I don't know, I'm trying to get some without just completely like covering it in scratches and stuff. I feel like the bottom of the shins and stuff where it like rubs together, like I feel like there'd be a lot of, whoops, a lot of scratches and stuff there. Every once in a while you're gonna have a little happy accident like that, where I just accidentally slam my paintbrush into the side of the model. Your shins have battle damage. That's one way to look at it. Kind of slowly working my way up. I started kind of at the bottom. And I'm trying to do like not just like some of this chipping like at the edges here, but I'm trying to do like some scratches here and there in different places. I don't think the back of his armor should have a lot of like bullet stuff. Like I'm okay with some wear and tear, but I don't think he should have gotten like shot in the back very often. Want to give him a like something hit and kind of ricocheted off a little bit going backwards. So we're gonna add some light scratch. Oh, that was thicker than I meant it to be right there, but it happens sometimes. And I'm kind of just being random with some of this. Kind of funny because I went earlier and kind of cleaned up a lot of these edges that I'm now going back and like adding scratches and stuff too. I've also seen people do this with like little pieces of like sponge where they've like dipped the sponge into the paint and then like blotted a lot of it off. I don't know if I have any sponge that I could use for that though. I feel like at the moment a lot of this just feels like I've made his armor look dirty. Like some of the scratches I think look okay, but a lot of the I don't know, the little specks and chips and stuff just look okay. I don't know. It's like on one hand I feel like it's too small in places. Then at the same time I feel like it's if I go any bigger it's gonna look wrong. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go back with some white and try to add some scratches in like the purple with the white. I think that might help some too. Might help sell the look. one thing you're supposed to do is kind of come back in under like the bottom of the scratch with the white. Oh, sorry, it's a little bit low there, but like, I don't know how well that's gonna. I don't know, it's really hard not to paint over like the previous areas that I've painted with like the black. That one I think turned out pretty good. I think adding a little bit of white like damage up on that mohawk crest I think will help. Gonna add some really tiny white scratches in the purple down here. I think I went just a little bit overboard with this little scratch on his face. So I'm going to take some purple back and bring that back down a little bit. Maybe. A little bit there. I don't know, maybe something like that. That looks pretty battle damaged. Looks like he's seen a lot, honestly. Might even be too much. But I think it looks cool. And that's kind of what I was going for, was trying to make it look cool. Still not 100% sold on these like upside down triangles. I don't know if that's how I want to paint like a whole bunch of these guys. I'll probably do at least one squad this way. Yeah. And then I don't know, I might think of a new color scheme later and paint like a different squad like that, because like I need to paint a lot of clone troopers for this army. Really, like I think his leg right here came out really well. I like the this big ding right here, and I like these scratches right there in the thigh. Like I'm pretty happy with those. Some of it though I feel like could be better, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. But let's get some brown on the base and maybe some black around the rim. We're gonna do I want brown? Yeah, I'll do brown. So we're gonna do some oak brown for the main part of the base. And we're gonna water this down a little bit. And coat the base. Nothing fancy. Super fancy on there. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit off the edge there just to make sure that I've actually painted all the way to the edge. So we'll overlap that just a little bit. Or a lot of it in some cases. I could probably get a little bit of brown on like his feet. Might help make it look like he's been running around in the dirt a little bit. I don't know. Definitely do the same on like bottom of his shoe, especially make it look like he's, I don't know, been running in the dirt or the mud or whatever. I think that looks pretty good. Looks a little bit dirty. Got a nice long hair on that one. Why do I keep doing that? Where am I getting that hair from? I'll have to come back and do a second coat on this rim here. Set him on the paper towel there. Do I ever glue textures to my bases? Sometimes. So sometimes I'll either do like some 3D printed base things. Like this miniature, for example, they have like a rock textured base that it came with, and then I actually 3D printed another base so that it's like two bases stacked because I wanted a hollowed core so that I could put magnets in here because I like to magnetize my bases. So sometimes I use something like that, or in this example here, he has like a, I don't know, some sort of, he's on some sort of space station basing of some kind that looks cool. Or I think you missed whenever I was showing him off earlier, but Shane actually asked about Captain Rex, and I painted him a while back, and he has some flocking grass and some stones and things on his base. I have seen people glue sand, especially, and this one basically, like, I covered it in PVA glue, and then I actually have some cool stuff in one of my drawers down here. headset got stuck. So this is one of them, Base Ready Scrublands. This one has some rocks and little flock grass stuff. So that's one of the sets that I had bought. I bought it from a company called Geek Gaming Scenics, and he sells the mix like already done up like that. But this one I think is my favorite one. And it's just called Patchy Plains. Yeah, Patchy Plains. And yeah, it's just some grass flocking stuff, some little rocks and sand and things just kind of mixed in there. But so what I would do is I would just put a bunch of glue on the base and just dunk it in there and get it all coated and then turn it upside down. So that way some of the grass kind of stands up on end better. But yeah, I bought this. Like, you get a baggie that fills up like, I don't know, not quite half of this thing for like $6 or $7, I think was what I paid for it. Like, it's fairly inexpensive. It might be more now, but it was pretty cheap back then. And I have a few other things, but I haven't really gotten very creative with my bases yet. I also have some of these things. I have some flowers and some grass tufts. And I have some of these that look a little bit more like dying. I might put one of these green ones. I was kind of thinking about that, putting one of these green ones on there. So I'll set those out because that'll add a little bit of interest to the base. And then the other thing I recently got was I picked up some of these little cork board things. I've seen some people like rip off chunks of these and like kind of tear it up a bit and use that for part of the base. But I've never tried it. And you kind of need to do that like before you glue your mini to it. Like you want to build the base, put that on there, glue the mini on, and then you want to like prime it all together so you kind of seal it in there a bit. Where's my tweezers? There are tweezers in here? No? Thought I did. Oh, I've also 3D printed a few bases like this. Darkfire Designs makes these, and he actually releases them with a lot of his Star Wars stuff. But it kind of has like a kind of a sandy texture, and then like a nice big rock. Or some of them, like this one, I don't know. They're fairly smooth. Like there's not a ton to them, but they're a little bit more detailed and a little bit more visually interesting than just a perfectly smooth like flat base. So he makes a handful of these that I really like. So I've printed out some extra ones. But some of them, like this guy, this is one of the oldest Star Wars minis I have. He came in the like original Clone Wars starter set for Star Wars Legion, which would have came out like 2018, 2019, something like that. Like these are their older minis. These were some of the very first ones I did before I really like learned what I could do with 3D printing and bases, and I didn't really understand techniques, so I just kind of built these guys and then glued them to the base they came with without doing any additional details or anything. So I don't know where my tweezers are. Shinny Wifey bought this little set recently of stuff, and it actually has a pair of tweezers in here, so I'm going to borrow those. I think it actually has 2 pairs of tweezers. So these little sets are, like, I've had this set for quite a while, but it just comes with a bunch of these, and apparently one of them just fell off. Looks like that one's not sticky anymore. We might as well use that one. So what I'm going to do is grab some super glue, since it's not sticking anyways. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to show what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to kind of set that guy over there. And get some super glue ready. This is an old bottle. It is kind of crusty and does not seem to have very much glue left in it, but basically this little pad is not very sticky, so I'm gonna get a nice drop of glue. Stick that little tuft right there. I think I'm gonna put another larger tuft over here on this side. Kind of try to make the base a little bit more interesting. Grab one of these larger ones. Some of these are still pretty sticky, so I'm just gonna stick that over here on this side. And there we have it. This guy is done. And I'm pretty happy with him for just kind of a bog standard trooper. Came out pretty good, I think. Again, I'm not 100% sold on the like design that I picked for his purple armor. I have some other examples. Like I was showing off, like I did the 501st, and this is kind of their like standard blue markings. They've kind of got this like upwards like arrow triangle shape on their chest, but it's like hollowed out in the center, and it kind of meets in the center and goes up into like a stripe up on their upper chest. Their helmet kind of has the blue on each side of that ridge. Their shoulder pads are solid. They've got some tiny little blue markings on the bottom of their knees, and that's just like the standard for the 501st. And then the 212th, which are Obi-Wan's clones, kind of have these orange markings. And that's kind of their like standard color scheme there. And I did kind of the same thing with this guy. I painted the base just brown and then added a little grass tuft to make it a little bit more interesting. But like this guy doesn't really have any battle damage. He just kind of has the standard paint job and then the standard markings. Yeah, on the one I just painted, the chest triangle is the thing that like bothers me. Maybe it needs to be steeper. Like, this is a very like obtuse angle. Maybe it needs to be more of an acute angle, like a more pointy triangle, maybe. Maybe that would look better. I don't know. Because that's kind of what I did with like the shoulder pads. Those are fairly pointy triangles. But like the one on his back is not very pointy. Backhead headphones to charge and dogs to walk. Oh, that's fine, man. I think it currently reads like cleavage, don't hate me. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I do agree. It's that chest triangle that's the part that I didn't like the most. Because I actually really liked these like markings on his thighs. I like the shoulder pads. I think that came out pretty good. I even like the little triangles I did on the back of his elbows. I like the helmet. I like what I chose, like the angle for the face. You like it on the back. I'm not opposed to how I did on the back. It's kind of simple back there. But yeah, for some reason it doesn't quite look right on his chest. And maybe it's because he has that little indentation on his chest. Like right here. That little notch that's missing, basically, to show the middle of his pecs. Like maybe that's it. I don't know. But yeah, he's basically done. I think, like I said, I'll probably do another coat of black on his base just so that's a little bit more solid. Like there's a little bit here where it's kind of showing through a little bit. But other than that, I think this guy is done for a basic trooper. Because I've got a lot more of these guys. I need to paint all 5 of these other guys to match him. And then that is one normal size squad of clone troopers. You got the leader who's pointing. That makes him a leader, obviously. And he's got little binoculars down here hanging on like some sort of strap. You've got a couple more standard guys. In a normal squad, you can have like a very, very basic squad is a leader and 3 standard guys. So this is a super basic squad of clone troopers in Star Wars Legion. It's 4. But you pretty much always want to try to add at least a heavy weapon. Because you get keywords and extra dice with a heavy weapon usually. So you bring like the minigun guy. So then you got 5 guys. But then you also have an extra person slot. So you could bring 1 single trooper in addition. Or there's a couple of other like special units you can bring here. Like you could, I don't think you can put a medic in this slot anymore, but you can bring like an engineer or a specialist or a couple of other things. Or you can bring an entire other infantry squad, and you can bring like a double-sized infantry squad. So you could bring like those 4 plus the heavy, and then you can bring like an additional 5 normal guys. So you could have a giant 10-man squad. I say giant. In Star Wars Legion, it's kind of giant compared to how it used to be. It feels like a lot of clones. But it costs a lot more points to do that. In list building. So, and clones are already kind of a elite expensive army, and all your heroes are like Captain Rex and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like they're all like really cool and powerful characters that are also expensive points wise. So you end up having just, I don't know, a ton of very expensive things to build a clone trooper army. And when I say expensive, I don't mean like money wise. I mean just points wise in game. Yeah, Necrotomb. I really like Legion. I got started with Warhammer, but then I realized there are a lot of other games out there, and nothing against Warhammer. Sometimes they have really good rules, and then other times they release like a new codex that like seems to break everything for a while. But Legion, for me at least, is very fun. I grew up with Star Wars. I really like Star Wars. I've always liked Star Wars, and I enjoy Legion. I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the alternating activations of Legion. Whereas in like Warhammer, you don't have the alternating activations. It's like my whole army moves, my whole army shoots, my whole army charges, my whole army does melee. I do the fight phase or whatever. And then if we're in melee, you get to swing back if your guys are still alive, right? So that's how Warhammer works. And then it's finally your turn after all of that. In Legion, I really, really like the alternating turns where it's like, all right, my one single squad does 2 actions. All right, now it's your turn, and your squad does something, and we go back and forth. Like, you alternate. And for me, that's a lot more fun, and it's a lot more engaging for both players, in my opinion. I like both players being very active the whole time, you don't really get that as much with Warhammer. You're mostly rolling, like if you're not the active player in Warhammer, you're basically just rolling defense dice sometimes when you're getting attacked and things like that. So I like Legion. I like other games too. I really enjoy one-page rules. I really have enjoyed, I've played a lot of solo games, like 5 Parsecs from Home, 5 Leagues from the Borderlands. I say solo, they're also cooperative. Rangers of Shadow Deep, and I've really enjoyed some of those. Those are pretty neat too. But yeah. So this is the guy we painted. I guess I should switch back to the camera where you can actually see him. Play a lot of MCP now. Marvel Crisis Protocol. I have not actually gotten to try Marvel Crisis Protocol yet. But this is the guy we painted tonight. They have some really cool minis though, and I'd like to get some so I can paint them. I played one like practice game of Shatterpoint, and my understanding is that the rules for Shatterpoint are kind of similar to Crisis Protocol. And I liked the rules of that, but no one here plays Shatterpoint that I'm aware of, and I think it'd be kind of cool to try Crisis Protocol. If the rules are similar at all, I think I would like it. Yeah, so this is the guy we painted. I'm pretty happy with how he turned out overall. He's very, very battle damaged for a basic Phase 1 clone trooper. He's seen some stuff. But yeah, I'll have to give Crisis Protocol a try. I know my local shop has some of their minis. Yeah, I think that's about all I got for tonight. I was showing off a couple of other minis, and honestly, I had a pretty long day at work, and I'm just kind of like realizing it is catching up to me. Like I'm like at that point where I feel exhausted, where I'm just, I don't know, struggling to, sorry, I'm trying to put minis back in the tray down there. I'm struggling to form like coherent sentences because I'm getting tired. But yeah, it's been fun. Really appreciated the raid by Miniature Graveyard. Really appreciated everyone else showing up. We had Garrick, we had Mini Shinny and Shinny Wifey, though I've got a feeling those two probably fell asleep, honestly. I haven't seen either one of them chatting in a little while, so there's a very good chance that they fell asleep while watching. That happens sometimes. But yeah, again, thanks everyone for stopping by. Thanks for watching. And I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Necrotomb. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, get out of here, get some sleep. I need to figure out how to do raids and stuff again on Twitch. I have not done that in some time. Let's see, do I know any of these people? I don't know any of these people that are streaming. I don't want to dump you guys into just something completely random. I mean, that's probably how Miniature Graveyard found me, but I don't know these people yet, so I'm sorry. It's too late for me to raid someone. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like I've said this like 3 times already. But yeah, I'm heading out. So see you guys next time. I stream Wednesday nights if you're new. Thanks for watching.